Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. How do Monster Hunter games run on the Switch 2? That's what you want to know, so that's what I'm going to show. Now, in case you don't know, Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak is locked at 30 FPS on the Nintendo Switch. They haven't announced or even told us if they have any plans to do an update, whether it be free or paid, for a Switch 2 edition. I really hope that Capcom does. Obviously, having HD textures and higher frame rate would be awesome, especially considering they did a PC version, so hopefully that would make it a little bit easier because they're not creating new assets. But it does run the Switch 1 version of the game through back compatibility, and because of that, I mean, the game ran pretty good on the Switch, and it has really good frame pacing, so when you're playing it on a smaller screen where it sort of just feels more fluid, you'd swear it was basically at 60 FPS. Like in handheld or tabletop, it looks fantastic. On a monitor, though, you definitely can tell that it's a very steady but locked 30 FPS. You're not going to get any better textures, you're not going to get any better resolution or anything like that, but what playing it through the back pat will do is just smooth out any hitches that were originally there. If it's lucky and it's one of the few games that was running at a locked 60 or even an uncapped frame rate, then the benefits of that will be immediate. I think Bayonetta 2 or some other games was like that, but not Monster Hunter. Anyways, I didn't know which to show, but I did get comments on Twitter letting me know that Amatsu was one of the fights that would really go crazy with the effects, and online in multiplayer could result in some dips in frame rate, so I decided to take that. Just jumped online. It was very nice to see that I was able to get people to join my room within... I mean, I just threw up an SOS like I started the quest, and it was filled within, I want to say, 15 seconds? Like, it was really fast. So some very shoddy gameplay here because I'm very rusty, but I just wanted to show Amatsu as I talk a little bit about my first impressions of the system, and just let you see what it looks like when the game is incredibly stable at 30 FPS. I found it really cool. Like some of these effects got lost sometimes when there were some dips, so being able to see them nice and crisp was a good treat, and it just reminded me how colorful and how poppy like this game was for Monster Hunter, and it's great. I think it's a fantastic addition to play side by side with Wilds if you have both. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. But the Switch 2, yeah, it's expensive. So I mean, and you know, there's a lot to be said about the system. But my first, day one impressions is that, it feels well made. It's huge. There's no way I'm gonna be able to play it in handheld. Then again, I had the same issue with the Switch. I couldn't play it because it's too vertically long or horizontally long. So I can't play it in the train, like a back train going to work or stuff like that. But it is really good for tabletop because you can just pop off the Joy-Cons or you can just pack the Pro Controller with you. Just set it up and it's got that really nice metallic backstand now, which has a really good range of sort of how much you can tilt the machine and all that. It's so sturdy, I was able to just prop it up on my pillow and play in bed last night, which was pretty cool. But yeah, the screen is gorgeous. Because of the smaller screen, things look and feel even smoother. So honestly, if you're only playing it in handheld, I don't even think an update would be needed. Considering the screen size and pixel density and the smoothness already, the game looks fabulous in handheld or portable. But on docked, of course, I think we do want an update, and I'd be willing to pay for one. Because obviously certification, submissions, QA, like it costs a not insignificant amount of money to do those types of ports. So, I'm fine with spending a little bit of money if they're willing to do it. But yeah, Rise is great. So I never really played multiplayer that much in Rise. I always played it with my daughter, just the two of us. But I guess with 4 people it would slow down in certain areas, but I didn't see any slowdowns whatsoever in this hunt. I did a few other ones last night, but I didn't record them. But everything was super smooth and ran really nice. So yeah, Rise Sunbreak is on sale right now, I believe. And no, I'm not getting paid by Capcom to say that. It is a good time to pick up Rise Sunbreak if you haven't already. Even if you're not getting the Switch 2, it's just a good excuse if you have a Switch 1 to grab it. So before we move on to the next game, let's check out this super attack. I think I died here because I completely forgot that you're supposed to use the big wire bug to go up in the air. I thought you could just do it with the regular ones, and I forgot it's like I'm in the proximity here, so I'm going to get wasted. Don't worry, we ended up killing the monster, so. You know, as I like to say, the true hunts, the memorable ones, start from the second cart. You know, when there's only one cart left, that's when it gets really fun and memorable. Anyways, this is Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak running on the Switch 2. Let's now move over to Monster Hunter Stories 2. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is fabulous. Like, I mean, if you have not played the first game, don't worry about it. You don't need to. If you haven't even considered playing this game, it is a love letter to Monster Hunter fans. It's really cool. This game actually had a 60 FPS cap. So while we did experience some major dips in some areas, it means that this game immediately benefits from the increased power of the console and looks and runs fantastic. This game was really fun because it's got like this rock, paper, scissors mechanic of like technical power and speed. And your knowledge of the monsters really will help you shine in this game. Like for example, in Nargacuga, you imagine would use speed-based attacks, right? So when it's not enraged, it does that. And if you just use the opposing types of skills, you can win in clash-offs and stuff like that. And of course, all the monsters can become monsties. They're like little pets that you can fight with. You can ride on them, and you can give them commands and sync up and do combo attacks. It's really cool. It does have the ability to speed up battles by like ×3, which is really nice once you get really deep in the game and you just want to get through a lot of the animations. You can turn off like the super mount animations if you want to, but personally I don't, because I find them incredibly fun and satisfying. Here I'll show you the kinship attack between the Stygian, Zinogre, and my hunter here. It's so cool. And you know, I'm going to shut up for this part so you can just enjoy this attack. Are you not entertained? Isn't that great? You know, I'll show you one more just because I really want people to play this game, and I find it just so fun. Total delight. But let me swap over to another hunt so we can check out another kinship attack. This time, I think Nergigante I'll show. Some other random things about the Switch 2 while I'm showing some of this footage. You do need to get a new memory card. I know Nintendo was selling them. They only use the micro SD express cards. That's just because of the read and write speeds have to be fast enough to match sort of the internal storage, which is SSD based. So that's unfortunately yet another cost. Then again, outside of OS, you get about 230 gigabytes of internal storage, so maybe it's actually not that big of an issue and you may not even need a memory card. The transfer process went over pretty good. When you first boot up the system, it's like getting a new mobile. Like it'll tell you, hey, do you want to transfer your files, put your system next to the old system, and then it'll just do a transfer, I imagine, over Bluetooth. You'll just need to have the systems plugged in, and yeah, it transferred over all three of my accounts, my European, my American, and my Japanese accounts. All my photo albums, all my saves that were on the console, and it all went over in one shot. Pretty easy. I think the hardest part of setting up the console was going through and deactivating the old switches as being the, the pass enabled unit, which is just a really convoluted way of saying it is your primary system. Because I wanted the Switch 2 to be the primary, but once you go and you deactivate all those, the next system, obviously your Switch 2 that you log in with, will become the primary, and yeah, you won't have to connect to the internet to load games and do stuff like that. So overall, the process I thought was pretty good. Before I move on to Generations Ultimate, this is a burning flying wyvern egg. What do you think it is? Of course, those of you who have played this game might already know, but hopefully I didn't include any hints, but you can see sort of the load times on here are pretty good. We're going to go and we're going to hatch this egg and see what monster I just pulled. This is a cute game because you have like, you grab multiples of the monsters and they all have like a bingo card of skills, and you're constantly searching for the combination you want so that you can fuse them together to make a super creature. It's a baby Wooby Basawios. Isn't he adorable? Cutie Pie gonna turn into a Gravios one day. Stupid juvenile ones are Basariosas. Anyways, let's move on to the final game, last but certainly not least, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. If ever there was a game I feel would really benefit from having a 60 FPS cap instead of a 31, it would be this game, especially now that it doesn't connect to the 3DS like it originally did, so it kind of has some like technical reasons for being locked at 30. I think the regular Switch could even handle it at 60, so Switch 2 could easily do it. But Monster Hunter Generations is an absolute love letter. It was a, sort of a celebratory anniversary title, sort of including all the major villages, all the major characters, all the major monsters from all the mobile games, like just celebrating the history of Monster Hunter. So it really is a nice compilation of everything with, I'll call it classic Monster Hunter, but, before modern Monster Hunter, starting with World, these were how the games were played. And they were a little bit different. They were a little bit wonky in some areas, very technical in others, but very fun and obviously very beloved. That being said, I don't know why, but Capcom just does not seem interested to do that. But I am happy to say that this game originally ran really well on the Switch to begin with, because it was a port of a 3DS title. So the performance was already really good. And it was, often when it was locked out at a very frame-paced, stable 30 FPS, it looked and felt really good, especially after playing it a little bit. Your eyes kind of adjust to the frames per second and everything just looks a lot more fluid. But this game, I can't remember if there was any dips at all, but if there were, there certainly aren't any more. So here I just decided, very rusty, to go up against a Gore Magala. It's going to be super shoddy gameplay, but hopefully this shows you guys just sort of like the evolution of the franchise. Like, you had less mobility, you had to put away your weapon when you wanted to move. You had to be more diligent about when you healed, because there was lots of animations that, monsters were tuned to punish you if you initiated it too early or too late. And it was just a different flavor of Monster Hunter that I really, looking back on it now with my rose-colored glasses, helped me appreciate the monsters even in the new age of Monster Hunter, because you really had to pay attention to the attacks more, I think, because of the limitations, the length of attacks, the range of attacks, like knowing if you're going to get hit or not. It was just a little bit different, and there was less interactive stuff around the environment, which had the benefit, of course, of making it more of an intimate, boss fight simulator, right? Like 1 versus 1. So yeah, I'm very nostalgic for classic Monster Hunter, and I do love it. Generations Ultimate also had these hunter arts, which you're seeing build up here, and they were great because they allowed you to customize the way you played, and sort of has special attacks that you can activate. It just really spiced things up. Watch this one. Yeah, boys, still got it. Actually, I think the cats are carrying me through this one. I'm really sloppy in old Monster Hunter. Yeah, in these games, when a monster fled the area, you sort of had to either mark it or know its habits, like which area it would tend to go to. I know that Gore Magala, when near death, likes to go up to the higher areas, to like the nest area. Gives it a huge advantage, especially with the elevation. So when it flew off, I kind of knew where to go. I wager that people who are nostalgic, who say they miss the hunting simulation part, that's just one part of it, right? Like knowing where they go, knowing where items are, having to make sure you don't forget, pickaxes and stuff like that. It was kind of like the more manual planning part of Monster Hunter. I could see why they got rid of it for modern gaming, because I don't think a lot of players had the patience to really do all that. But I can certainly see the argument of why they enhanced the experience rather than detracting. But I digress. No matter what flavor you like Monster Hunter, it comes in many different flavors, so hey, we all just love the franchise. One cool note on the Switch Pro controller, more expensive stuff, you can easily quickly map the GL and GR back buttons. You just like hold the home button and boom. And now I can very easily activate my hunter arts using the back buttons on the controller, which is really comfy. You can do that with third-party controllers already, I believe, but having that software integration where you just hold down the quick menu and you can quickly assign those buttons on a game-per-game basis is really cool. Anyways, hopefully these videos were interesting, or maybe just hearing me yap about Monster Hunter and my love for these games. was good, because I know the internet can be quite negative about everything these days. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're thinking about picking up a Switch 2, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Again, they're not updated for the Switch 2, so you know, you're just playing it on the new system through back compatibility, but was nice to test out nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, happy hunting.